Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to talk about some more Granblue Fantasy Versus, because yes, it is currently my favorite game right now. So I wanted to make a quick video on a few tips that people can use to get better at the game, because as we know, it has been released in the West for a couple days now, but it was also released recently on PC, and probably there's a new wave of players trying to get better at the game right now. So first tip that I want to give is you probably want to hit the training mode as soon as possible. And it's not just to fool around and use and do combos and stuff. You mostly want to understand your character and your opponent. And what I mean by that, you want to understand the frame data in the game, how it works, what moves are good for your character, what moves are punishable, and what moves you probably want to avoid, right? So hitting the training mode and using the frame data tool will be very important for you. It will help you understand your character better, but also having your opponent to block constantly will also help you understand a couple of things, especially having them to block and turning on a certain property in terms of counters. You can have your opponent do a light attack after blocking, which is very useful to know which moves are punishable for your characters. But also you can understand what moves would put you at a certain advantage depending on the range, and that's very useful in this game. That's something that you want to do and something that you really want to understand. The second tip that I'll give is understanding hitboxes and hurtboxes in Granblue Fantasy. Now, something that is super important before we talk about hitboxes and hurtboxes is the fact that in Granblue Fantasy there's a proximity system in the game which will allow you to hit your opponent from far away. It will allow you to do some pokes with your normals instead of doing auto combos if you're at a certain range. That is super important. Your pokes will be the most important thing actually for most characters. For example, characters like Catalina, Gran, Percival, even Narmaya, Zeta, characters like that, they play a lot with their pokes, even Fairy. And that's pretty much most important thing that you want to do with those characters, because pokes allow you to be at a certain range. It allows you to really apply pressure on your opponent so they cannot do much against you, and they are also very good because they keep you safe. They keep you very safe, and you really want to use the best poke of your character as much as possible. Now, for example, in terms of hitboxes and hurtboxes, I want to use, let's say, Percival. Let's say I'm using Percival. At the very start of the fight, I always like to press my heavy attack with Percival, because Percival has a far heavy attack that is super good. His far heavy attack can hit the opponent immediately at the start of the round. That is super useful, especially if the opponent is pressing a button trying to maybe use a projectile, or maybe using a rushing move that I don't want to deal with. You know, for example, Gran has his EX boot, as we know. He would probably like to use that a lot at the start of the round to get advantage. Well, I can just deal with that with Percival by pressing my far heavy attack, because it has such a huge reach that it will always hit the opponent at the start of the round unless they are jumping backwards. That's the hitbox of my far heavy attack. However, because I have such a huge reach with my far heavy attack, I'm also at a huge risk and at a huge disadvantage using that move, because the far heavy attack of Percival is super slow. It has some slow startup frames, and it also recovers very slowly. It's also the case for most characters in the game, I think, when it comes to far heavy attacks. If I use a far heavy attack and I use it in the training mode, let's say I use it in the training mode, and I have Lancelot as the AI. Lancelot, by the way, is the character with the shortest reach in the game, so there's not much to be scared of. However, if Lancelot is able to block my far heavy attack with Percival, Lancelot is able to punish me with a far light. A far light from Lancelot is, like I said, it's like the shortest attack in the game. It has the shortest reach, but it's able to punish me from a super long distance, and that's my character's hurtbox. The hurtboxes in this game are really huge. You need to understand them in order to get better at the game. If I use a far heavy attack, yes, I have a huge reach. I have a massive reach, but I'm also able to get hit from very far away if they whiff or if they are blocked. They are even punishable. So I want to avoid using my far heavy attacks too much because they are very risky. It's like a high risk, high reward thing, and I really don't want to get too much into that situation. However, there's other pokes that are really good. For example, far medium. Far medium is probably going to be the most important thing for most characters in the game actually. Far mediums are super good, and you want to use them as much as possible. A character like Percival has a really good far medium because of the length of his sword. I don't have to get close to the opponent, and far medium attacks have the advantage to come out really fast, and they are very hard to challenge because of the ring. They come out really fast, you recover from them really fast, and they poke from very far away. Plus you can connect them with things like fireballs and stuff like that to put more pressure on the enemy. Really good. That plus understanding your frame data is going to be very good because you can use far medium attacks, recover from them really quickly, and connect them with, let's say, you can cancel them into a special that gives you advantage. That's really good to understand. Using that will highly improve your playstyle, it will highly improve your performance against other players. So you want to understand a couple things like that to get better at Granblue Fantasy. The third tip that I'm going to give is understanding cooldowns and EX moves. So the cooldown system is very important because let's say you're fighting a fairy, for example. A fairy has a huge range, right? And it's really difficult to get close to fairy. But if you're able to jump in a certain angle, fairy cannot challenge you unless she uses her EX DP. Let's say fairy uses her EX DP. Now she doesn't have it anymore. You want to be in the position where you can jump fairy without being punished anymore by let's say her down heavy attack. Her EX DP is down, she cannot use it anymore. You want to be able to put pressure on her right now. It's also very important to understand this type of situation when you are trying to pressure an enemy at the wall. If you push them at the wall, they're probably going to use like an EX DP to get out of that situation because, well, that's the most useful move at the wall. Let's say, for example, if you put someone at the wall, you're really pressuring them a lot. They will use it because of the invincibility, and it will be their main tool to get out the pressure. If you're able to bait that, you win the fight pretty much because they no longer have a way to push you, to get you away from them, and that's going to be a very important thing. But yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please leave a like if you did. Also follow me on Twitch because I've been streaming a whole lot of Granblue. I've also been streaming Neo 2. I'm really invested in that game right now. They've been changing that a little bit since the demo, so I've been enjoying it a lot more. Anyways, that's it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye.